Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries, and or nonprofits. Here we go. Good morning. Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Is that you or me? That's all right. It's all good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Today's topic, what are your thoughts on being forced to wear a mask? A little bit of a controversial subject. Waiting for the hook. Waiting for the hook. And I see for the first time all I'm meant to be, Brother Jay. You have closed the door, Brother Jay. Hey, Brother Matt. Brother Jay. Seeing my first rodeo, Brother Jay.
Ta-da!
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
And we're glad to have everybody on board with us today. Steve O'Mickey Mac is on the road right now, driving somewhere to do something. I can't remember what it was. Sorry, Steve.
He's going to Michigan.
Going to Michigan. Oh, so
Isn't that
he's
right?
going to visit Canada.
Yeah, he probably already been by the store today
Yeah,
to
probably.
get some pizza.
Yeah, picked up that pizza.
The pizza.
The za. Good pizza there, too, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
I
man.
can't. Well, I mean, yeah. it's
See, the
good
thing
stuff.
is, you got to go when it's really, really busy.
Because they're really, really fresh.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, even whenever they're older, the slices
Still good,
are still
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as when they're fresh out of the,
Oh, man, it's just unbelievable.
you know,
really.
that cheeseburger pizza
Oh,
that
yeah.
you guys have there. Oh,
I like both crusts and everything. I mean, I like all of our
yeah,
pizza.
the thin crust is good too. You
Mm.
got thin crust there.
Specialty, though. I haven't had the taco yet. I need to get the taco pizza.
Yeah, you know, I've never, you know, the one taco pizza that I've had was from a different gas station, and everybody rages about it, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't like it very much because I mean the lettuce and cheese and everything just falls off on the floor. It seems like.
See, I like that.
I
I like messy food.
I like.
What I don't like about
organized.
it is that it cuts up the roof of your mouth. Because you got all them crushed taco chips on there. You know what I mean, bro?
Yeah.
You know how tacos can be.
Oh yeah.
Unless they're
You
soft
know what I
tacos.
hate is getting like a chip. Like. Apparently, there's a new look to Facebook here. Weird.
Yeah.
You can now decide how Facebook looks when you can change this at any time in your settings. So
Hey,
you can
Kevin
make
Saxton's watching.
so you can make it dark. Good morning, Kevin Saxton. You can switch to classic Facebook anytime. Okay, good. Glad to hear it. Wow, it does look different.
I haven't even noticed.
I don't know if
hardly
the
ever get on there anymore.
I don't know if the mobile looks different. Kevin Saxton. Oh, anyways. So it's good to see you guys.
You know, we're wondering about face masks.
What is that doing there? That's like right on there. Everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And,
How did they get there?
we were doing pictures the other day,
Yeah.
and
Pictures of?
pictures of me.
Pictures of you with your weight loss thing and your new healthy.
We were doing.
Oh yeah. Because
we
you
were
were the
doing-
Hulk.
Yeah, we were recording. We were recording a pre-recorded video for the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pat.
Because you were bad at
That is what.
monster on the good side.
Yeah. It was, and what we were gonna, because we want to change like what everybody sees as they're like looking through our Facebook or our YouTube channel. You know how they have the one picture, the thumb. That's what we were wanting people to see.
Yeah.
To grab their attention, and you got some big dude like this saying, "Look, how to fight."
Yeah.
Let's see, share to a group or share to a.
Yeah, and you were a boxer.
Yeah. Yes, I was. Yes, I was a boxer.
Trained fighter.
Yeah.
Trained killing machine.
Trained killing machine. I wouldn't say killing machine. More like ender of life. No. But I was trained in boxing.
trained-
Yes.
a-
During my time, I
a
was
trained transcendental transitional
transitional.
master.
Yes. These were lethal weapons, yo.
Yo,
I was told that, if I actually started a fight because I was trained, I would get in more trouble.
oh yeah. If you start a fight, yeah.
But, when I
My
defended
question is, do you think trained fighters ought to wear masks?
real quick, one thing I want to see is if you're a trained fighter, you want to go in and you want to fight that hunger
Yeah.
whenever
you
you're in Branson.
right.
By going to our proud
Well
sponsor,
done.
Steamy Joe Cafe, 224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri.
Little yellow house on the hill.
Little yellow house on the hill.
You've been there.
417-320-3046. I have not yet, but I have had their food. Their brownies are amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
My favorite was definitely the cinnamon rolls, hand down.
Fist
Loved
bump
them.
back at you there, Mike. So, yeah, their cinnamon rolls are amazing. Now until the 10th of July, you go in and you ask for the Morning Drive Special, and that's a buy one, get one free cinnamon roll, a.k.a. huge half a plate covering cinnamon roll.
Huge. Okay.
It's huge. It's the biggest cinnamon roll. Ask anybody. Ask anybody anywhere. It's the best there is. It's the best. I'm not as good at that one.
It's better than any other cinnamon roll on the planet,
Yeah.
and even on any other planet as well. Right.
You're pretty good at that. That's awesome. We're going to have
You got to go off the charts with your bragging.
I want you to wear a blonde wig, a President Trump wig.
If Mars had cinnamon rolls, these would be better.
These would be better than Maz's. These are better than
Mars cinnamon rolls.
China. Can't put anything else out, anything close to this.
China has nothing like it.
Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. They're good cinnamon rolls, man. They're good. Oh,
Very, very delicious. They're so delicious.
I couldn't get enough of them, except that my stomach wouldn't fit anymore.
Oh yeah,
2.5.
You tried. You tried.
I tried.
You tried for tree.
I tried for 3,
Try for tree.
and I think I would have got 3 if it hadn't cooled off, because these were day old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were. They
I
were. tail.
microwaved them, and I still. Oh man,
they were good. Well,
would-
they're moist, and they're if you put a little pat of butter on
I'd
them.
like to
they're
get them
just-
fresh, like
I
not
like
even
that.
put in a container, but just fresh onto a plate.
I like
I
that.
can't even imagine how good they are.
I like the olive oil and sea salt butter. Put a little dollop of that on there. Throw it in the microwave. Oh man.
When you're eating out, my question: should you wear a mask?
It's kind of hard to eat with a mask. But the question is, okay, if you're out in public, now, and I don't wear a mask,
I don't either.
but mainly because I don't have one. That's a tough one for me.
Here's how I see it. This is something you can't see,
Yeah,
right?
it's hidden.
Now that they've got the testing way up, they know when the cases are on the rise or on the, they're reporting things to the CDC. If the CDC announces that people in Springfield, Missouri should be wearing masks when they're out in public, I would wear one. Here's why. Not that I'm afraid of catching it. Though I don't want to catch it, I'm not afraid of it. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go. If it's my time, it's my time, and I'm ready
Absent
to
from
go.
the body, present with the Lord.
Amen. So I don't fear it. But my main concern is that if I were to get it and be contagious, to transfer that to somebody else, to cause somebody else to become ill
Right.
and possibly die because I was being irresponsible. Now, what I mean by irresponsible is that if the CDC came out tomorrow and said that there's a spike in Springfield, Missouri, people should be wearing masks outside, then I would say that it's irresponsible not to.
Right.
Irresponsible not on your own behalf, but irresponsible
Right.
as far as your being able to spread it to somebody else. What choice do they have, right?
Yeah.
You know, because even if you wear a mask, if somebody wears a mask to protect themselves in public, and you're out conducting your business, and you're not wearing a mask, and you have COVID-19, and you get it on your hands, and then you touch the counter, or you touch the little buttons on the little thing,
Right.
and then somebody comes in who's protecting themselves because they're at high risk, and they touch that pad, and then they touch themselves because they leave, they get in their car. What do they need the mask for then, right? So they may
Right.
take the mask off and then touch themselves, and bam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. The CDC claims to know, and they have guidelines for it. I think that if there's a warning in your area and they are giving the guidance that we should wear them at all times in public, it would be the responsible and the right thing to do to always wear it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So you don't believe? Good morning, Stacy Wedeking. Steve.
I don't believe it should be
Counselor.
mandated.
No, because that's a liberty.
Okay, and I'm even controversial about that.
Are
Because yes, because liberty is the freedom to take risks that you want to take.
you? Yeah.
But this is different. You taking risks puts somebody else at risk, and we have laws against that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't go out and fire weapons in the air for a reason.
Yeah.
Because
You don't know where that'll come down.
right, you start that, then there's a whole neighborhood, 50 guns, all shooting lead up into the air in the middle of the city, and that lead's going to rain down somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody could get hit. Somebody's property is going to get damaged. That's why you can't do it.
Yeah. There's logic behind it.
There's a reason you can't even disturb the peace at certain hours. You can't make a certain amount of noise at certain hours. And yes, people are very tolerant in America. People make a lot of noise at the wrong time of day often. The problem is, if your neighbor one day is making a ton of noise in the middle of the night and never makes a bunch of noise in the middle of the night, there's usually tolerance there for that. People usually are like,
Right.
well, I'm sure that he has to do something because otherwise he wouldn't do it because he never does,
Right.
or she.
But if they do it all the time,
Then it's disturbing the peace,
Yep.
and there are laws against it. So that's the way I see it. It's not really that controversial to me. If they mandate, I think they could mandate it, and I wouldn't object to that or feel like it was a. Now, there's another aspect to it. Is this really a thing, or is it a hoax? Are they just trying to manipulate the public to separate us and divide us? I find that hard to believe.
yeah. And the
That's-
problem is you can't trust any real news sources anymore.
Or
on it.
government agencies.
Or government agencies.
Now, I've heard from people, like there's some podcasts that I want to watch that I trust that they're fairly honest. I could be wrong about that too. You know, nobody's got perfect judgment. I don't think I do.
What?
But it seems that the high populated areas where people live very closely stacked on top of each other, where there's high volumes of people using the same stuff all the time in public, those places seem to have very high rates, and that's not a hoax. There were real problems with people getting sick and dying, and people ended up getting into nursing homes with it, and the nursing homes, a lot of people died in those nursing homes, and it was COVID-19. And yeah, there's that idea that there's a hoax that they were doing something to jack up the numbers. They may have done that because people weren't taking it as serious as they needed to.
No.
You know, because I even had one of the kids that, a kid that I know, a young person, I shouldn't say kid because they're a young adult, who wasn't concerned about it. And they even said, it's an old person's disease.
Yeah, my son said that. My youngest son said that.
So it's not an old person's disease.
not.
It is indiscriminate about who gets it.
Yeah, my son.
But it is very discriminate about who gets the sickest and dies from it.
Yeah.
So you can get it and you can transfer it to other people and not really be affected by it. But the people you transfer it to may be very affected by it or may come in contact with someone who is also very affected by it, who
Yeah.
may die from it.
Because I was freaking out about it, and I had my my son with me during before they shut everything down and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, don't go into Grandma and Grandpa's house. And don't. He was picking up stuff at the store, messing with it, and I'm like, put that back. You don't know how many people have messed with that. He said, I'm not really worried about it. I'm young. You're young, which is cute that he thinks I'm young.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not the point. I said, are you ready to bury your your parental guardians?
I'm just at the age
grandma and
group
grandpa?
and the risk group that I was up at. I think it was like 6 out of 1,000 people my age who got it would die from it.
Those are not good numbers.
Those don't sound like good numbers to me. Out of 1,000, there's 300,000 people in Springfield. I don't know what the population is per capita of age groups. I mean, that could add up to 300 people.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's scary. You know, you think it's
Or no,
never going to happen.
that would
to
be
you.
18.
You think it's never going to
people in
happen to
my
you
age group.
until it happens to you, and you're not expecting it because you didn't think it would ever happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it goes. Like with the flu and stuff. I wasn't worried about getting the flu. I haven't had the flu
I've
since
never been worried about it.
I haven't had the flu since I'm a baby.
The only time I was worried about it was when I was a night security resident manager of a facility of elderly and disabled people.
Yeah.
And I had 134 apartments, 143 or 134 apartments of people, and some of those were couples. So, and there were a lot of elderly and a lot of disabled people. So I was concerned about getting the flu then. Because I knew that I was in contact with a very large number of those people. And the ones at the highest risk who would be most affected by getting it, they weren't at the highest risk of getting it.
Well, you can have the
They
flu.
were the
though.
highest risk of being
Can't you have the
drastically
flu
affected by
and
it.
be asymptomatic?
I think so.
So that's another thing, and it's the same way. You don't want to give it to them.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I would be responsible for, elderly and disabled people getting very sick where I wouldn't even really get that sick. Even if I did get really sick, it wouldn't be the same as it would be for them.
Like you remember when I was sick back in February?
So I got the shot, and I object to the flu shot.
Yeah, but you had to get it.
No, I didn't have
make
to.
it mandatory
Well,
for
I
your
think-
employment.
I think I had to, but I think that so the way they do stuff like that is that they explain to you that they want you to get it because of your position. They explain to you why you should get it, and then they leave you the choice. And if you choose not to, then they would tell you you have to.
Yeah.
So it really is, and it was my own choice based on the information they gave me.
Yeah.
And I chose to get it based on the information they gave me.
It's kind of like explaining to your
I didn't-
kids why they shouldn't do something or why they should.
Right, and I didn't get it based on the fact that if I chose not to,
Uncle
they
Ray.
would tell me I had to or I would lose my position. But I got it because the information they gave me told me that in order to do the right thing by the people I was serving, I should get it.
Right.
And I did.
So, what was I going to say? Oh, in regards to, like, Stacy says that her dad can't wear those masks because he has problems breathing with a mask on.
Right.
Now-
he shouldn't be out in public if there's a
Right,
spike.
absolutely. But there are, I've watched numerous videos. Like there was a woman who had, and I'm not saying anything about against that, Stacy. I'm just saying I watched a video of a woman with a pulse oximeter, and she had asthma, and a couple of other breathing disorders at the same time.
Yeah,
and
compounding her problem.
And she had the pulse oximeter on her finger, and then because she has to monitor her oxygen level, and then she put the mask on, the one that is regulated, and I'll get to that here in just a second. Kevin, because he had mentioned about the different types of masks, and she put the mask on and sat there breathing, and the pulse oximeter did not drop
Steve's
down.
been by my work.
Has he?
He called me Uncle Jay. Yeah, that's my name at work, Uncle Jay.
So the pulse oximeter was not going down. Didn't drop when she put the mask on. I think that because it restricts our airflow a little bit, I think a lot of people psychologically freak out, almost as if being claustrophobic in a way.
Yeah, and I don't want to undermine those things, but people can use that as an excuse not to wear it. But
Right.
the point isn't that the point, though. That
Right.
people like that who actually should not or cannot wear the mask.
Should not be in public.
Well, but if they have to go out in public, shouldn't we be protecting them by wearing a mask ourselves?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, I just don't see. Okay, as far as my liberties go, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to protecting other people, not myself, I can choose to do what I want to that would risk my own safety. I
Kevin-
mean, I ride a motorcycle.
Kevin Saxon says, but the masks people are wearing don't do anything. The CDC even said that you need a certain mask to stop the flow of the virus. And I've seen actually on the side of a box of masks, this mask does not stop the spread of COVID-19. And, I saw, okay, and this really cracks me up.
So I think the terminology "stop" is one thing, though. I mean, you can't tell me that spittle that might eject from my mouth and land. You ever been talking to somebody and spit came out of their mouth and landed on your lip, right, or in your eye? You can't tell me
Or in your
that
cheek.
these masks that don't stop the spread of COVID-19 because
Can
somebody's
stop the
spittle
spittle.
may get on my
They reduce
mask.
it. They reduce it.
So somebody else's spittle may get on my mask, and then I'm at risk, and I could get it.
Yuck.
And 100 people could. But here's the thing: is the spittle from my mouth going to fly off and land on somebody else's lip? No, it won't.
Have we grossed you guys out yet? It's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my point.
Hey,
is
Julie.
stopping. I mean, the terminology "stop." Yeah, well. Does even the mask that says it stops the spread actually stop the spread if you don't use it properly? And how many people are trained in the proper use? I know that when I was caring for my father's wounds through his surgeries and all that stuff, it is a very strict regiment and order of operations to actually prevent the spread of infectious disease. And it's hardly possible to do it throughout your daily life.
Yeah.
It is possible to do it within a confined area, a specific set of circumstances where you can regimentally follow procedures through
Hi, Julie. She said hi, Jay.
through an event where you may be able to actually stop the spread of something from yourself to somebody else or from somebody else to yourself.
Julie says something is better than nothing.
Yes.
And Janine, Tanner's mom, she says some masks are so thin. I saw a person the other day, and I thought this was just silliness. There's a person wearing a crocheted mask. I could see their mouth.
I think that's probably sarcasm.
No, he was serious.
That it was effective?
I didn't even ask him about it, but he walked around there.
I think that's sarcasm, though.
He didn't look sarcastic, though. I should have asked him. Is that really, seriously, you think that's going to help?
And that may have been something is better. He may have been one of those people who can't wear a mask because it affects their actual...
But has to have it to get into place.
Right.
The one Josh bought from the plasma center, she said she can spray a water bottle and you will get wet.
Right. So here's my point, Janine.
Spittle.
So spraying, okay, are we being selfish? Or, you know what I mean? Is the idea to protect ourselves from it? Or is it to protect other people? Now, that mask may not protect you from somebody else's spit getting on you, but it may protect
you from
getting spit on somebody else.
And I've said that a lot, that the masks, like the surgical masks, they're not there to keep the doctor from catching anything from what they're cutting up.
Yeah.
They're there to keep them from spitting and, hacking loogies or something inside an incision. I
Transferring something.
bodily fluids.
Yeah, transferring a harmful contagion or bacteria or whatever
Right.
it is to a person's open wound, which in this case, with this type of disease, it's transferring fluid.
Yeah. And it is.
Right,
And
isn't
within
it?
that fluid.
In your breath, which
Yeah.
is the vapor from your
Yeah.
breath.
Spittle. That's a weird word to say. But spittle. Yeah. Not loogies. Or like if you sneeze. When you sneeze, air and moisture come out of your face at over 200 miles per hour.
Who doesn't sneeze, and who knows when it's going to happen well enough to be able to be prepared to cover with something effective?
Right.
And that's my point. Something is better than nothing, and it's not to protect yourself, but to protect others from yourself. That's my point.
Another point that Janine brings up, what's the percent of good bacteria over bad bacteria that we are wiping bleach everywhere and killing the good bacteria as well?
Yeah, there's that too. The thing is, are you protecting against? Does it protect against this specific contagion that right now there's an epidemic of?
Yeah, that's yeah, and I use hand sanitizer at work all the time.
Yeah.
And when I'm at home by myself, I really don't, unless I'm getting ready to go out somewhere, because my hands, I have eczema, hand and foot eczema, and
there's several arguments. I mean, it's to listen to arguments and then verbatim use them for argument's sake is one thing, right? But when we say things like the hand sanitizers killed a lot of bacteria, but the strongest and most deadly and dangerous ones are the ones that survive, right?
mm-hmm.
The issue isn't how many people do you know who used hand sanitizer through this that got some deadly bacteria?
Nobody.
Nobody, right. So the thing is, we don't use those things enough to kill all of the lower forms of bacteria and leave nothing but the most deadly forms of bacteria left, though that could happen with something like this, and it's probably even more likely. Is it happening? No. Right? So here's the thing. We haven't reached that critical point where the only thing thriving on surfaces is these highly communicable, highly deadly and dangerous bacteria. The same with taking antibiotics. People use the argument that when you take an antibiotic, it kills all of the antibodies, good and bad.
Yeah.
But your body can reproduce those rather quickly.
Yeah.
Right? But the truth of that argument is for somebody who takes antibiotics for every single thing, even just their fears. There used to be, when those arguments were made, there were people taking antibiotics all the time for everything. Now that's a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But for the average person who's only taken antibiotics once every 10 years, this is not a good argument.
No.
For not taking antibiotics when you need them.
Now, real quick, before I forget, and we'll get back onto this here in just a second, Axe Fest is coming up. If you have not registered, you need to go online and register. You do need these classes. You do need these. You need to see these. So I've been instructed to read an article written by Dr. James R. Whining, the president of Axe Ministry and Axe Media Group. Why is this Axe Fest so important? By Dr. James R. Whining. You guys don't mind me read this real quick. Do you know or remember ancient Rome required its citizenry to return to their places of birth to be counted and taxed? Hopefully, you know of our school districts across the USA that they have a day when parents and guardians are encouraged to have their children show up at the school and be counted for tax revenue sharing. Even churches have a day to report their collective bodies, their membership count. So why has Axe Ministry, with its pastors, ministers, ministries, subordinates, and nonprofits, not required a day of accountability? Axe Ministry has always been a safe haven for new ministry ideas, for older ministers who have pushed aside for their righteousness, for Christian enterprise that helps to cast aside for social issues past overdue to lack of glamorous appeal, and for innovation that puts unity in Christ through the Holy Spirit. The reason for the new look of the 21st century church, that is why this year we have a call to arms, not guns, but people who know, recognize, respect, trust, and love Axe Ministry for what it is doing for them as a pastor, minister, ministry, subordinate, nonprofit, follower, and supporter. Moreover, what Axe Ministry is doing in a world apathetic to hostile to Christianity. This Axe Fest we have because of the worldly circumstances, the coronavirus, our COVID-19, and technical advances by our division Acts Media Group, Acts Television Network, and Acts Radio made it possible for nearly everyone to see and hear our 8 very important seminars, July 16th and 17th, 8 a.m. to noon. This is the time. This is the time to be there in person or online. Be financially supportive of supervision and works of Acts Ministry and its divisions, and find out not only how we are quietly and effectively helping you, but also how you can be a part of this and stand for Christ. This is a different world today. For Christians, we need to draw near those who seek the peace of the unity in Christ through the Holy Spirit. If you do not register and be accountable, we assume our paths have crossed and are no longer together. May God grant us strength and understanding during these last days. That is, you can go online and you can read that. Now, it's also got the Acts Fest seminar guidelines, talking about what it's going to be about. Go online to actsmediagroup.com, check it out, and then if you scroll down, let me find it here. Let me scroll. You actually can go to PayPal, the donate button, if you want to register for the classes, and you got the Thursday, July 16th. The classes are 101 is preaching and teaching on social media. 102 is keeping meetings safe, which is very important, especially with all the hostility and stuff going on around. Subject 103, history of Christian morals and ethics. Subject 104, writing as a Christian tool. And that's Thursday. So, and then Friday we have protecting your ministry in the 21st century, which I think if you are a minister and you have a ministry that is under our umbrella, you need to know this stuff. Subject 202, financial alternatives. That's with Tony Hammock. He'll be on here in just a little bit. And then subject 203, 21st century leadership. And Missouri State Representative Lim Morris will be giving that. And then subject 204, Christian business nonprofits, with Becky Code, Andrea Carter, Ladina Boo, and Dennis Everson. And so there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of information. So you want to register, you have to register to be a part of this. So go to the PayPal donation button. Each day is $25 for the whole entire day, for every class each day. And you'll want to put on there, okay, so you put, like, you're doing both days, you donate $25, you have to do it twice. And one says, you'll go to the make a note section of it. You'll put Acts Fest registration 101, 102, 103, and 104. And then do it again for Friday and do the same thing, but 201, 202, 203, and 204. Any questions, get a hold of us. You can text me on Facebook. You could email 4321acts@gmail.com, and your questions will be answered. So, anyways, back to what we were talking about. And there's hardly any seats left, by the way, for that. So Kevin Saxon says, another thing to keep in mind: the virus isn't great resistant.
Temperature and sunlight kill it.
Yeah. So the doctors are saying to drink hot fluids several times an hour. Probiotics, yay! Antibiotics, boo! That's what Janine says.
True, but there are extremes where antibiotics could be necessary.
Absolutely.
I don't know if she agrees with that or not. And if I'm wrong, I would like to know. I would never want to take an antibiotic if it's never necessary. But
Kara McIntyre, I think you're on. Welcome.
But I have had infections where I had to have a severe, strong, antibiotic, where I may have survived not taking it. Who knows? But I know that certain infections in your body are very difficult to allow to ravage you.
Yeah.
While you're still having to, function.
Yeah. And it's difficult.
So that your body will build an immunity so that you can have an immunity against something that's already very rare and you're not likely to
Yeah.
ever have again.
And hurts.
And hurts very bad, yeah.
So-
and actually it would actually
Some stuff you have to have antibiotics in
there
order
would
to
be
get
a
better.
period of time, who knows how long, that you could not function with a certain infection ravaging you.
Yeah.
And,
And probiotics are very good for you.
yeah,
They are needed. You need to,
yeah,
you need to replenish your gut. That's what Janine says.
yeah,
But she says, true, Jay. You have to replenish your gut.
yeah. So we have to be careful about the margins. That's the point. Is we can use any argument to support any view and any perspective, and they would all be valid under certain circumstances.
Right.
Right. If there's not spiking cases of COVID, and not because of more testing, but if the testing stayed the same per capita of people who came in with certain symptoms, and then all of a sudden that started to spike among the same test subjects, same group, not the same group of people, but the same per capita number of cases of people who had certain symptoms. If that started to increase in positive tests, you would want to say, hey, put out a warning and say, hey, people, we need to wear these masks. And then if people refuse to do it and it continued to spike, then you would have to mandate it. Because it's not about you getting it. It's about you giving it.
Right.
Right? Because you getting it is your own risk. You can go lick somebody's face if they've got it, if you want to.
And you
and
can
get
follow
it
them
yourself.
around and be like, face licker.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, what about the person who is less likely
Morning,
to be able
Renee
to
Richards.
protect themselves against it, who has
Renee
to go
Michaels,
out
sorry.
and expose themselves to it, and then you're running around taking no precautions whatsoever about whether or not you spread it to
And
somebody
you're just
else.
passing it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
That is not liberty.
No.
To me, that is no different than disturbing the peace or destruction of private
Endangering
property.
others.
Home invasion is the same thing. You know what I mean? You can't go into somebody's home knowing that it's not yours, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you go out in public when there's spikes in cases and there's people who are at risk, and there's got to be a level. So that's what I'm saying is there's the extremes outside the margins, and then there's the mean,
Yeah.
the median in the middle. You can use any argument to support any case, but really does the argument belong in the actual current status?
Yeah. I mean, if someone is taking antibiotics every day just in case, that's bad.
That's bad.
But my dad had a bladder infection that he didn't know about until it was almost too late. And he went to the doctor, and they had to give him antibiotics or he was going to die. It went septic.
Right.
So in those cases, the flora in your gut really doesn't matter in that case. You got to do something and get rid of that horrible bacteria or like parasites in your body that require antibiotics to get rid of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they do not die and they keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Now,
I think there is a massive problem in our communities where natural products that are easily accessible and could easily be grown and harvested by any individual in the right, climates. There are natural products that are better for treating many of the problems that we have that are now treated by pharmaceuticals. And I think that a lot of the information about those things
Good
and
point,
the
Jan.
availability and access to those natural products
Jana Hill, good morning.
are limited not because they're not as effective, but because there are powerful people supporting pharmaceuticals and want to suppress information
Yeah.
and would pass laws to make it illegal to share and transfer. And that's another case where they take the margins and the extremes and apply it to the medium. Because what you do is you say, hey, look, if you talk about antibiotics like nobody should be taking them, then we'll sue you for, liability. You can be held liable for somebody who needs an antibiotic and doesn't take it.
Right.
Right? And they can suppress you that way with a threat like that. and then pass laws that make you even more vulnerable to liability where you actually are not liable.
And, we hadn't touched on a subject that goes hand in hand with the mask wearing is social distancing.
Yes.
I believe the mask wearing in combination with the social distancing, proper social distancing, and I think I'm like one of the only people that follows the signs on the floor in the grocery store that says, go this way.
Stand here.
And it's so much, and you know why? It's so that you can stop 6 feet back and you don't have to pass by somebody going this way.
Right.
You all go the same direction. You can properly social distance.
Yeah.
The people really aren't taking it seriously anymore. They've got other things on their plate. What, murder hornets?
Yeah.
Where'd that go? That's like gone, done. Which is nothing compared to the.
It's a lot of it's fear mongering.
Yeah,
but at the same time, sometimes fear mongering is a way to stay ahead of the actual potential.
Yeah, because the point wasn't to stop it. The point was to slow the curve.
Yeah, I was sick one time, and a doctor told me, you need to take this or you could die from it. Would I have absolutely died from it? Probably not. But could I have?
The probability was high.
Maybe not even high, but it was a high enough percentage that this treatment would get rid of it.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Right?
Do
So
what the
there's
doctor tells you to do.
there's a certain point where to get the right result and the right reaction from the public, you do need to amplify the risks. Because they are real risks, but you need to amplify them as though they're right outside your door, because they can be very easily and very quickly. So it's a very complicated issue. I'm saying if there's an announcement that, hey, there's spikes in COVID to a level that puts everyone at risk, we should wear masks not to protect ourselves, but to protect those people that come in contact with us or in proximity to us.
All right, Dr. Paul found us
do it.
today. Good.
Yay.
So Janine says that she got in trouble yesterday for not being on a blue square at the post office.
Yeah.
There was a lady at a gas station that's down by closer to where I live, and she's probably one of the grumpiest store managers I've ever seen anywhere. She's just not a people person.
Right.
So whenever she asks you to step back on the line, she doesn't ask you. Get back behind the line. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. I had to be that way with some people. I had some people come in. I'd have somebody at the register during the height of the COVID scare, and somebody would come in and get right beside this person, and I'm like, and be talking like literally this close to them. And I'm like, do you know this person? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you need to get back. But there's a different scenario. Like for us, during the height of it, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we both willingly take the risk to hug one another and say bye, say hello?
Right.
Where we both were aware of the risk.
Right.
We were both willing to take the risk, and so we both did. Where no one else was at risk except ourselves.
Right.
That's liberty.
Yeah.
That's true liberty. I have the right to take a risk, no matter what that risk is.
Right. But you don't have the right to risk somebody else without them
without their being aware of the
Yeah.
risk and accepting it.
So like somebody, so you've had to tell some people will get up like talking to people that they didn't even know, like this close.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Like,
not only is that a risk to
hi,
them
Brother
during
Jay.
the COVID thing, but that's also a risk to a person's
Brother Jay.
confidential information financially.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always paranoid about people looking over my shoulder when I'm putting in my pen, so I'll flip my wallet over it and do like that so they can't see it, and I'll jiggle the thing to make sure. Anyways, but that's a little bit off topic. But you're right. That's
And you have the conspiracy theorists who will never follow those rules, who just go around putting everybody at risk, saying, this is a conspiracy, it's crazy. Meanwhile, in high population areas,
there's a
there are
spike.
a lot of very sick people and elderly people dying because of people
Joplin
just
was-
like them.
Joplin was number 8 for the highest amount in the nation.
Per capita.
Yeah, like a week or so ago.
Were they?
Yeah, like they had like the top 50 places, and Joplin was number 8.
Wow.
Number 8.
Number 8. And that's got to be per capita.
Okay. And Johnny Rooster, you said unconstitutional. You're talking about if they were to nationally force everybody to wear masks anytime they're out in public.
I would argue that's not right, that it is constitutional. For you to go out and put other people at risk of getting it is not your constitutional right. It's no different than disturbing the peace or breaking and entering or anything like that. You can do whatever you want no matter who's at risk or who suffers as a result because you're free and you have liberty and you have a constitutional right. You don't have a constitutional right to put somebody else at risk. And you know what? To the skeptics, I say go to one of the hot spots and do it and see what happens. Go to one of the places that they're saying it's spiking. Take the risk for yourself and then see what happens. If you don't believe in it.
Yeah.
But I also do believe that governments do need to be accountable for this stuff. So if this was all just a hoax and they found out it actually was really a hoax, I mean, people should be executed over
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
because inciting panic nationwide, you
Yeah.
know. But that's
and destroying people's lives.
yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
livelihoods.
I haven't actually been personal friends with anybody who's actually had it.
No, I haven't
But
either.
I am friends with people who had a family member get it, and we know somebody who had a family member die
Yeah.
from complications caused by COVID-19. Now, as far as the masks, and it's great that people have differing opinions on this. It's like me personally, and you're right. It's about, are we going to be selfish? The masks. I think as a last resort, I don't think the government should just right out the gate force that mask wearing upon people.
No, I don't.
You know, but
No, I
if
don't
but
either.
if the spike continues and doesn't slow whatsoever, instead of shutting the government down, shutting the nation down again, but instead they say, okay, you can go out, but make sure you're wearing a mask when you're out of your car. You don't have to wear your mask in your car. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me.
I think that you have the liberty to not wear it in your car.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's mutual agreement. Like I said, we hugged. We didn't have a mask on. We were both aware of the risk. We both accepted the risk, and we
went a while before we hugged, though.
yeah, we did.
It drove me nuts. It got to the point because I wasn't hugging anybody.
But that was because we weren't willing to take the risk with your parents, who you have a very intimate relationship
Yes.
with, in that you provide certain services for them,
Right.
and they need your help in
Yeah.
certain ways.
And I love them very much.
So your proximity to them puts them at risk.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
I have
why
to be
we-
very thoughtful of that. So today's show is brought to you by and proudly sponsored by Steamy Joe Cafe, 224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri. That's 417-320-3046. From now until the 10th of July, you can go in and get the Morning Drive Special, which the Morning Drive Special for this week is buy one, get one free cinnamon rolls. And they're big. They're huge cinnamon rolls. Maybe not that big, but seems like it. They're like that big, maybe this big. Jay ate 2.5 of them and about killed himself. You ever seen a puppy eat too much, and then their belly gets so big and they lay over and just go to sleep? I can see people doing that. They need to have a nap section in Steamy Joe Cafe, so when people eat so much sugar and they come down off of that sugar rush, they can go lay in the corner and take a nap.
Mhm.
That would be great. But yeah, Steamy Joe Cafe, just off of 76. It's a little yellow house just off of 76 Country Music Boulevard. That's on 224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri. Check it out. So, good topic today.
Yeah.
By the way.
I do disagree with John Cockcroft. I think it's Constitution is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But so long as that right and liberty doesn't infringe upon the right and liberty of somebody else. Now, because if people refuse to wear masks out in public, and that forces people who are in a high risk group of dying from something to not be able to go out, and if they don't have somebody that could go out, and they're perfectly healthy otherwise, you're taking away somebody else's liberty. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. I didn't really even think of it that way, but you're right.
And I think it is.
So-
So
So what are you going to do today? be sure you practice social distancing. If a place requires you to wear a mask to go in, get a mask. Wear it while you're in there. It's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just that little bit will keep you, like if you catch it or if it keeps your germs off of other people.
Not to protect yourself from it.
Right.
To protect other people from it.
Right. So we are going to get out of here. Coming up next is Asa and Tony Hammock with the New Gold Standard wearing their masks as well. We were talking about that today, gentlemen.
Yep.
And then right after that, we're excited. Peggy Lee and Jeff with a G with Open-Ended. Oh, yeah, I said you look so serious. You know, and I told you that I would like for you to talk more about, serious things, and today was a really good reason to see as to why it's good that you do that.
And we do know somebody who had it and got seriously ill. Isn't that who was the connection? Well, I guess I don't know if we can mention
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mention it on the air, but
but it is a fact they had it and were sick.
Well, yeah, they lost a family member that had it.
Yeah.
So that being said, let me see about maybe. All right, there we go. Well, yeah. Oh, wait, what do we got? What do we got going on?
But it is a fact. Well, yeah, they're.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the morning drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. But again, be sure and tune in next for the New Gold Standard with Tony Hammock and his son Asa, followed by Open-Ended with Peggy Lee Brennan and Jeff with the G. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
And this has been the Morning Drive.